before we get into the commissioning piece, we'll begin with the Changemaker. Yasmin's passions lie in storytelling, community building through upskilling young leaders of tomorrow. She's senior manager at Stemettes, which is an award-winning social enterprise inspiring the next generation of girls and women into science, tech, engineering, maths via events and creating opportunities. So without further ado, let me hand over to Yasmin.
Okay, hi everyone. Good to see you all. So firstly, I wanted to start with my massive face on the screen. So firstly, what I wanted to do was start off with one of my all-time favourite memories as a child. So it was dancing around to "I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world, love in plastic." You get it. So when we were there, like dancing around, me and my best mate wearing matching clothes. I know some of you have been there. The tuck shops at the back. You can't wait for your parents to pick you up, really, but there you go, you're still dancing. But that's a believable goal. Like when you're in that moment with your friend, you actually do believe that you could be a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. And it's so incredible, and you get this big boost for life, and it's a reachable, fun goal. So, as said, I'm Yasmin, and I work for Stemettes. So does anyone know what STEM stands for? Anyone? So I did have a gift, but it was for unfortunately, you were a bit slow. But someone here, the photographer, actually got it right. There you go. So, moving on, well done, it is science, technology, engineering, and maths. Who here sees a Barbie princess, by show of hands? Who here sees an engineering princess, by show of hands? And who doesn't really have a clue what they're looking at? Brilliant, okay. Okay, so who are Stemettes and what do we do? Basically, we're a group of women who are making sure that there are more women going into STEM careers. So at the moment, there are only 21% of women that occupy the STEM careers in the UK today. And as you know, we occupy just over half of the population, so it doesn't really add up that we're not being these problem solvers and making changes in our community. So how do we try and inspire the next generation to actually, get involved and do this and change the social norm that seems to be suffocating our workforce? Well, we run events. We run events, hackathons, panel events. We go into schools, take girls out of schools, bring them into corporate companies. And funnily enough, the best thing that they ever get from the experience is the toilets. They're like, "Oh my God, there's glitter in the floor," and they give you a free toothbrush. And you're just like, brilliant. If that's what you've taken away from today, and that's why you want to work here, then we'll take that. We also run a mentoring program, and we also make sure that we occupy some of the app store space so that the girls, if they live in somewhere quite far away, like the Shetland Islands, which we don't go to very often, they still manage to get in with all the competitions and hear about what it's like to be a woman in a STEM career. So, the next stage of what we were doing, so we've been going since 2013, so for the first 4 years, it's been a bit of a punt, really, a little bit of a bet. If we create these kinds of spaces, will the girls actually enjoy it? Will they arrive? And the answer was yes, they really did, and they bubbled up to the surface really quickly. So if you provide an environment where they don't feel like the odd one out, so typically, if you're going to study computer science, you might be one of 10 girls in a lecture hall of 400 guys. So it's not a massive deal, they say, but it's still not the environment they want to be in. So we create that environment, and they did come along, which was brilliant. And what we were trying to convince them to do was jump over the fence, join us in this, I suppose, metaphorical house of the environment of being a STEMette girl in a STEMette world. So when we do our events, there's after about 50 girls, you'll notice that about a handful of them are already waiting in that metaphorical house. They already want it to exist. So then we thought, Okay, it came about on a Tuesday, randomly I remember that. Like, how about we create this house? So we did. South London brought girls from all over Europe to this house to see what would happen if we put them all under one roof and inspired them to make their ideas into businesses.
Down like a Snapchat. Go
Hey, come on in! Welcome to the Alpha!
Overtap that, and your flow so old, granddad. It's just banter. Yeah. I'm way too much like a black cap. Aye, boss. Why you stop chatting in the club for? Just dance, man. Like yo fam alam, yo fam alam. Ain't no girl better than. I'm on the roads, caravan. Let me do this fast, Ramadan. Cause it's going down, avalanche. I'ma keep it short, paragraph. Queen Leisha, my reign, Anorak. Take it off Israel, Nazareth. Oh Jesus, oh Lord, oh Jesus. A couple of snaky friends, just Adam and Eve-less. Yeah. And there's no debate on who's better. Come on. I'll turn a man to a girl like Bruce Jenner. Shout down the dance like.
Okay, so we did create the house, and then because you're all media heads, as you know, we did a little documentary on it, which you can all see later this year on Amazon. But for today, what I'm going to do is just show you a few more clips just to briefly go through like what happened and what we learned. So in the spirit of Changemakers, I wanted to let you know 3 lessons that we learned that probably you can take forward.
Every day a week for 6 weeks. So every day we have 3 sessions.
The sessions are like
Product design,
company culture,
improving apps,
building a career around your passion,
ethics and business,
front-end coding,
branding,
writing a business plan.
fun, yay!
Okay, so how many of you know what percentage of women in STEM careers are in the films? So in films, how many out of like all of the careers, STEM careers, how many are occupied by women in film? Anyone? Shall we go from, okay, so everyone put their hands up. Brilliant. So do you think it's above 50%? Do you think it, oh no, wait, put your hands up. Do you think it's below 50%? Below 40? Below 30? Below 10? Okay, so a few of you are okay right there. So according to the Gina Davis Institute, there are only 11% of careers taken up by women in film. So as you know from earlier, like 21% are actually in a reality. And it is said that like reality sort of replicates art and art replicates reality. So why is that a bit of a mismatch? I mean, 21% isn't even good enough, but to not even show it so that people can see it is also not really acceptable. So the next thing that we're going to see is going to be another clip about what the girls learnt within the house and how that changed.
But to kind of walk in and just see so many talented young girls, I think, coming together around different subjects and kind of also knowing that you don't have to be a pro in that area. You can be learning and you can just know a little bit and you're still entitled to take on that kind of STEM title of I am a girl in STEM.
Okay, so the next 2 lessons are basically that you have the power to change the social norm. Like imagine if, for example, in EastEnders, Dot was was doing a PhD in science. We don't need to see the fact that she's doing the science. It's just that you've changed the way that we see the people who actually do the science. So the other lesson that I wanted everyone to take away was basically don't do it alone. So we've been contacted by people before with scripts to basically ask, like, is this okay? Can we do this? And sometimes it's basically a male stereotype, but they've given it a female name. So instead of doing that, it would be like reaching out, getting involved in making sure that more girls can go into STEM careers because you're changing what they see and you're being the influencers. So thank you, and imagination in your creation.